Words of our Divine Mother from the book The SunLit Path, passages from Conversations and Writings of our Divine Mother, page 21, topic Surrender, Self Offering, Humility. The first topic under that, two parts of yoga. Our Divine Mother says there are two parts of yoga, one of tapasya, discipline, and the other of surrender. The path of tapasya is arduous. Here you rely solely upon yourself. You proceed by your own strength. You ascend and achieve according to the measure of your force. There is always the danger of falling down. And once you fall, you lie broken in the abyss, and there is hardly a remedy. The other path, the path of surrender, is safe and sure. It is here, however, that the Western people find their difficulty. They have been taught to fear and avoid all that threatens their personal independence. They have imbibed with their mother's milk the sense of individuality, and surrender means giving up all that. In other words, you may follow, as Ramakrishna says, either the path of a baby monkey or that of the baby cat. The baby monkey holds to its mother in order to be carried about, and it must hold firm, otherwise if it loses its grip, it falls. On the other hand, the baby cat does not hold to its mother, but it is held by the mother, and has no fear nor responsibility. It has nothing to do but to let the mother hold it and cry, "Ma, Ma." The next topic, surrender and the yoga. Our Divine Mother says, surrender is the decision taken to hand over all your responsibility of your life to the Divine. Surrender is the decision taken to hand over your responsibility, all your responsibility of your life to the Divine Mother. Without this decision, nothing is at all possible. If you do not surrender, this yoga, integral yoga, is entirely out of question. Everything else comes naturally after it, for the whole process starts with surrender. You can surrender either through knowledge or through devotion. You may have a strong intuition that the Divine alone is the truth, and a luminous conviction that without the Divine you cannot manage. Or you may have a spontaneous feeling that this line is the only way of being happy. A strong psychic desire to belong exclusively to the Divine. I do not belong to myself, you say, and give the responsibility of your being, your entire being, to the truth. Then comes self-offering. Here I am, a creature of various qualities, good and bad, dark and enlightened. I offer myself as I am to you. I offer myself as I am to you. Take me up with all my ups and downs. Take me up with all my ups and downs, conflicting impulses and tendencies. Do whatever you like with me. The next topic, true surrender enlarges you. Our Divine Mother says, by surrender we mean a spontaneous self-giving, a giving of all yourself to the Divine, to a greater consciousness of which you are a part. Surrender will not diminish but increase. It will not lessen or weaken or destroy your personality. It will fortify and aggrandize it. Surrender means a free, total giving with all the delight of the giving. There is no sense of sacrifice in it. If you have the slightest feeling that you are making a sacrifice, then it is no longer a surrender. For it means that you reserve yourself, or that you are trying to give with grudging or with pain and effort, and have not the joy of gift, perhaps not even the feeling that you are giving. When you do anything with the sense of a compression of your being, be sure that you are doing it in the wrong way. True surrender enlarges you. It increases your capacity. It gives you a greater measure in quality and in quantity, which you could not have had by yourself. This new greater measure of quality and quantity is different from anything you could attain before. You enter into another world, into a wideness which you could not have entered if you did not surrender. It is as when a drop of water falls into the sea. It is as if when a drop of water falls into a sea, if it still is kept there, its separate entity or identity, it would remain a little drop of water and nothing more. A little drop crushed by all the immensity around because it has not surrendered. But surrendering, it unites with the sea and participates in the nature and power and the vastness of the whole sea. The next topic, the most important surrender. And Divine Mother says, the most important surrender is the surrender of your character, your way of being, so that it may change. If you do not surrender your own, very own nature, never will this nature change. It is this that is very important or most important. You have certain ways of understanding, certain ways of reacting, certain ways of feeling, almost certain ways of progressing, and above all, a special way of looking at life and expecting from it certain things. Well, it is this you must surrender. You have certain ways of understanding, certain ways of reacting, certain ways of feeling, and also certain ways of progressing, and above all, a special way of looking at life and expecting from it certain things. Well, it is this you must surrender. That is, if you truly want to receive the divine light, if you truly want to receive the divine light and transform yourself, it is your whole way of being you must offer. It is your whole being you must offer by opening it, making it as receptive as possible, so that the divine consciousness, which sees how you ought to be, may act directly and change all these moments into moments more true, more in keeping with the real truth. Let me repeat that. That is, if you truly want to receive the divine light and transform yourself, it is your whole being that you must offer by opening it, making it as receptive as possible, so that the divine consciousness, which sees how you ought to be, may act directly and change all these moments into moments more true, more in keeping with your real truth. This is infinitely more important than surrendering what one does. It is not what one does. What one does is very important. That's evident. That is the most important thing. But what one is, whatever the activity, it is not quite the way of doing it, but the state of consciousness in which it is done, that is important. The state of consciousness in which it is done is more important. You may do work, do disinterested work without any idea of personal profit, work for the joy of working. But if you are not at the same time ready to leave this work, to change the work or change the way of working, if you cling to your own way of working, your surrender is not complete. You must come to a point when everything is done because you feel within. You feel within very clearly in a more and more imperious way that it is this which must be done, and in this particular way, and that you do it only because of that. You do not do it because of any habit, attachment, or preference, not even any other conception, even a preference for the idea. That is the best thing to do, else your surrender is not total.